So, yeah. So the electromagnetic ley lines uh, are visible, but our brains can only perceive so many wavelengths of light. So therefore, our brains are limited on us actually seeing these electromagnetic waves of energy. But I do hypothesize that in the future evolution of mankind, we will be able to perceive them. Now, we can perceive these energies with devices that can pick up the other wavelengths of light. So it'll only be a matter of time. So, this is the human body, which also has the electrical magnetic ley lines that emanate from the human body itself. So, let's go over this for a second. You have a human being who lives on a planet. That planet exists in a Milky Way spiral galaxy that is floating through space, infinite space, where the galaxy itself is held together by gravity of magnetic ley lines. The planet is held within the spiral arms of the galaxy through its own solar system of magneticism, and the planet itself has its own magnetic field around its own self. The human being that lives on the planet also has an electromagnetic force emanating from itself as well. So, this connection to nature cannot be denied. It exists within the universe, it exists within nature, and it's being proven every single day by factual science. And it has to be recognized. This isn't being taught in mainstream educational systems anywhere in the world. And there actually is breakthroughs being made in it, and it's branching off into another form of education and knowledge. And it will come to the forefront of the human species soon. I've been studying this for 15 years, and it's been a long time coming. So, we are actually in the process of evolving towards this knowledge and understanding it. But this is basically the information that I had intuitively as a 22-year-old man when I was healing people of sicknesses and healing them of disease. I realized this innate natural law that common sense will tell you that this is fact, that the human being is, in fact, a light being of electricity, emanating universal electrical force that is interwovenly interconnected harmonically like a symphony from the human being to the planet in a harmonic octave of forces generated naturally, universally, as one interconnected unit that the human being is at some point evolving to recognize as fact. When that occurs, the logical sense of nature will become apparent. This is a cannabis sativa leaf, and it was taken with an aura photography that shows the bioelectricity that emanates from the plant itself. This is steamed broccoli, and on the right you see raw organic broccoli. So, using this technology which exists, we are able to detect the bioelectrical force of any object on the planet. So, to use this technology to look at our soil compositions and our plant compositions only makes sense. As you can see, the cooked broccoli has a lower bioelectrical force than the organic raw broccoli. So, what does that tell you? Here's another picture of raw corn, and you can clearly see that the force of light emanating off of this plant is much stronger, much more vibrant, much more full of life than the cooked corn. So, just using your common sense, what does that tell you? which one would be more beneficial for the human being radiating electricity, connecting itself to the planet that lives on a galaxy floating through infinite space, surrounding a central sun of light emanating from the core of the galaxy, which also has a magnetic property that holds the entire arms of solar systems together within its gravity. Common sense will tell you there is an interconnection quantumly, subatomically, that exists in nature that needs to be recognized. When it's recognized and it's taken as fact and you believe it, do you understand that plants and certain food substances are better than others? Some food substances have a draining life force to it, and some substances are vibrant and necessary for the human being to actually be vibrant with life itself. This is the human brain, which has billions of neurological pathways conducting electricity, much like a conductor in a symphony. And you are the ones that are in control of the information that's being processed. So, what's stopping the light from flooding into your being, surrounding yourself with light, penetrating every cell with pure light, coming from a universal source that many people will call God? You can call it what you want. But this life force is real, it's electric, it's alive, and it's emanating from every single object in space. And clearly, using technology to study the bioelectrical forces and magnetic properties of entities in space will awaken your consciousness to the fact that, in fact, it almost seems like everything is conscious, everything is interconnected. And why wouldn't it be? It only makes sense. Yet, we live in a society that has many pollutants and many destructive forces psychologically and food wise. So, you can see the path that I'm headed here when it comes to curing all disease or curing cancer. We can see what the answer is when it comes to curing sickness. And in fact, the Garden of Eden has never left us. We left the Garden of Eden. And it's up to us to return to it. And that's what I'm here to do, is to help you understand how I helped this man in his last stages of cancer return to life, because the things that he was putting in his body were degrading his electrical systems. They were degenerating his life force. They were robbing him of this bioelectrical energy that is alive and conscious and interwovenly connected throughout all of nature, subatomically on a quantum level. And that's just fact. So use your common sense here when it comes to thinking about how you're going to tackle your cancer, how you're going to get rid of your diseases. To me, this is uncovering a principle that may even lead to eternal life, the reversing of aging, so on and so forth. Because when you start to emulate what it is that is fact, or what is truth, and that is pure light, then we are leaving the physical world and we're starting to entertain concepts that Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla so commonly talked about when it comes to the concepts of light itself. Because light has its own properties that goes beyond the physical. And when you start to see that, then you clearly see that just through simple plants and some substances do not emanate this life force, that we can actually guide and direct our actual destiny of health and be vibrant and full of life here.